cars. We're dreamers just like me. On lily pads, oh bit lost before I sink too deep. I miss my bed and hiding in it. I miss that simple way of living. I miss my bed and hiding in it. I miss that simple way of living.
Good morning, family. Happy Monday. Hopefully everybody's weekend was good. As we get settled in here for a new week of trading. Let me just pull up a few of my tools. Alright, let's see what we got on the calendar. We got goods today, consumer confidence tomorrow, GDP on Thursday. PCE numbers on Friday. Pretty light week. Let's see expectations on GDP. It's forecasted 2.8, previous 1.4. Yeah, no data I'm interested in this week, really. I mean, we'll take a look at what this GDP number comes out as. But GDP is not even in my even think it's in my top 5 of events that I'm looking at right now. So, yeah, not really that important of a week for me in terms of news from the calendar. You guys can even see that, that's okay. Dollar index and indices coming off a pretty interesting week last week. Dollar index took a tumble from 102 down to just about the 100 flat level. Coming short just a little bit. Structurally speaking, we did fill out this wick, which is some interesting price action to say the least. Big question everyone's gonna have this week is, we kind of just build up a new range here, we react off of this, we sink right through it by end of week. Those are the questions. I think initial thoughts that I have is we'll probably end the week around this. I don't think we'll react off it too much. I would welcome us to journey back towards 102 maybe, but might be asking for a little much out of that. I don't know if we'll close the week below it off GDP. I think GDP, if anything, might give a little bit of confidence here. Maybe we'll break this on the actual Fed news coming in September. Or actually, hold on. When does this week end? What's today? The 26th? So what's Friday? The 30th? Okay, so we don't have any sort of NFP or unemployment this week either because of that. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I would expect we probably don't do too much this week. It is interesting to me that we filled this wick. Again, that we did fill it on Friday. And then again on Monday here, we've opened up the week, testing a little bit below it as well. Or the Sunday into Monday price action here. So I do think we could probably react off this. Again, I don't see GDP pushing us through it. Obviously, momentum could just be enough because this is the fundamental direction, as you guys know. Yeah, some interesting stuff. I don't think too much has happened today. Again, the big question here is like what actually happened below. Switch to my 30XY chart. What actually happened below this low?
That's what you're coming for, but
Highlight this real
drop
quick.
it back to the floor. It's getting late now, hang up. She sips a Coca-Cola.
See, there's like no sustainable action happened after we broke below here. A lot of the selling pressure was all, again, basically off Powell's comments at Jackson Hole, and it was very low volume since then. So I do think we erased most of this week. I think it would be wise to see if we fill this inefficiency. Again, the biggest problem that we're going to run into with this is when it kisses into it initially. So you do have to be careful with this 172 level, but as long as we can get above 172, we should fill the entire thing. Granted, it's not a giant inefficiency between that level, so kind of annoying there. Let me turn that music down a little bit. Alright, let's go take a look at some of this other stuff he's doing.
She can't tell the difference yet. That's what you're coming for.
Matt's 3-minute live OB signal from, I think, what was it, Thursday? Still printing. You just clean up this chart a little bit. This is a lot of stuff that we had last week. I'm gonna keep that on there for now. Alright, let's take a look at this gold because she has been running nice. Ideally, I was, and maybe depending on how this week starts out, I was looking for a pullback still below 2469. We were also looking for this like little smaller pullback to 2515. This is something we were looking at in the trade room, and we did execute buys somewhere in like this 2510 range. Unfortunately, this didn't produce much for us because we took these intraday on prop firms, or at least I did, and I know Matt did as well. So we weren't really able to hold this for the full move, which is annoying. But this liquidity has been grabbed, and we are now just sitting in like the point where gold has to give us a little bit more information, because one, she came and took out our take profit areas above this 2556, and the biggest question I have is like, what becomes of like this order block that's sitting here, right? What becomes of like this 2-hour order block, or this is actually the 4-hour. There is also the 2-hour here as well if you want to refine it, but we're sitting inside like that 4-hour OB, which again I define as a climax candle that's an engulfing candle with higher volume behind it, which is exactly what that is across the board, with that being all-time highs. The thing I don't like about it, again, is that this is all-time highs, right? I don't like to bet against all-time highs. If I was going to bet on this order block holding or breaking, more times than not, I'm going to want to bet on it breaking. Because again, I don't like to fade all-time highs. It's just not something that generally goes well. However, if this does react off of here, and we start to actually close back below this 2557, and I think even more importantly than that for me, would be like if we got back below this 2545 entirely. Again, I might execute before that. I don't know. We'll see what tomorrow brings and where price is. I'm not really looking to trade today. But I would only start to play this OB as like valid again if we erased this move that's with liquidity. So I'm really looking for like two things either this week. Either I need gold to close back below here, close below, to execute bearish. It doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to short right when we do that. It just means that I will take the next sell side execution model that I get. Some people will interpret this as like, oh, once it closes below here, SAG's just gonna go short like this, and that's not true. I'm gonna look for a setup that makes sense after that point. Other than that, if we do just start breaking back above, or we do something like intraday where this thing breaks, I'll probably just resume buying this. There's no reason for me not to. This is sitting at all-time highs. Again, the dollar could very well slip support, and if it does that, this is just going to send this even higher, and there's really no telling where we're going to stop. Some of the lower time frame action, again, from this morning, this thing is choppy as all hell today. This is why I don't trade Mondays. This is just super ugly. This is stuck in like a 60-point range, hasn't done a damn thing on like any time frame here. Again, volume is increasing, market's giving no sort of information off of that. So it's like even with volume and volatility increasing into the open here, this has still yet to do anything. So this doesn't tell me anything. Again, like we can make assumptions all we want. We could say, hey, this is like a nice area that if price slips below here, we print something, it could be a good buy. Again, you could say the same thing for if we push above like any of these like little highs in here. This being the highest points, we'll have to just use that while still holding the structure. So this doesn't help us at all, really. This is why I don't trade Mondays. It's just ugly as all hell. Again, you don't have too much news until GDP and PCE at the end of the week, so I'm not really expecting Monday to be super busy. But yeah, as of right now, man, I need a little bit more information on this to see if I want to play away from the highs, or if we're just going to continue to bet on this thing pushing it to 2600, 2700, and just continuing its climb, which is one of the most logical things to do. But again, that's going to all depend on this DXY. Do we respond from this weekly liquidity here? Do we start to recover some of this into September before it dumps again? Or are we going to just break below the support and be looking at stuff pushing over to the lines? So yeah, gold I think is going to provide some interesting opportunities this week. But again, for those of you trading it early week right now, I don't know. Best of luck. I think we're in an area that just requires more information to see how we want to hold. But yeah, we get this. I'll close. I'll look to execute bearish. The longer we sit up here, the more likely I will probably buy it on tomorrow's trader. Alright, let's take a quick look at NQ. NQ doesn't really require a chart update. I'm really still just looking at this pushing into 2100, 2200 before we can sell it. This did not benefit or really get impacted in any really major way from Powell's statements. Again, the initial comments of a rate cut did send it higher, but this immediately got erased, and then we kind of just resolved back in the center. So I think this, more than anything, tells me that, again, sellers are starting to show their hand, but I don't think we've hit the levels that we need to hit to like fully go sell side quite yet. So for the long term, I'm still looking for like 2150, 2200. We get up here, more than likely I'm gonna be pushing this all down. So again, hopefully we move up towards this week. I'm not really looking to execute on the macro this week, but if it presents itself, again, moving into September, we'll have to just take a look at that. As for right now, again, we're 15 minutes after the open here. The open gave a little bit of a push up, immediately got rejected. Again, on the smaller time frames, again, this is the open candle here, and pushed up. You know, you could say there's some buy side absorption going on here. Again, if we were playing this morning, we were looking at this at 9:30. I wonder if we would have taken the 5-minute high effort erase. Would have been us going short at the close of the last candle. Something like this. Targets you have for this or this low. So it's an interesting idea if it wants to come fill these news wicks. Again, a simple way that I would play these like Powell speech highs and lows, because again you've kind of done nothing. We've done nothing since those Powell comments. Right? You basically just printed a little high, printed a little low. I mean, if I was gonna play this like optimally for this week, I would love for this to come and fill and react off this little liquidity pocket. You come fill these speech lows. Why did the music stop? Did I lose Wi-Fi? Stream down. Weird. Stream still low? I don't know. Hopefully stream's still low. I would be looking for NASDAQ to fill these data lows, see if we get a response off this liquidity pocket, and if we do, then I'll be looking to trade this to the buy side to take this out. And again, ultimately up to my 2100. Again, this idea doesn't work so well with gold spilling over potentially. Again, because both of them should trend somewhat the same direction. But again, we're not fully convinced that gold is going to hold that all-time high. Now, the Dow is a little bit of a different story for me. Again, we're still waiting for this to push all-time highs. I don't think that this is going to turn around without producing all-time highs. Even now, it's, again, a lot of this stuff is testing some interesting, like, daily and weekly levels here. So, again, we could respond off the liquidity pocket, if you know how I define liquidity pockets here. But I do think, moving into September, we do get an all-time high on this. I think before we come and take this out, which is our end-of-year plans, this thing will produce a new all-time high, and we'll have to get the sell-side signal from NASDAQ, and once we get that, we should see some stuff happening on the Dow as well to print in that high before we, again, kind of tumble and rebalance into elections into the end of the year. Again, which doesn't help people necessarily for this week. To be honest with you, this chart is not something I would generally be looking to trade today. Yeah, if you're trading this and you're not already long, good luck. That's my best advice to you, because again, much like gold last week, you would have had to take advantage of the buy side setups on this. You would have had to been looking below this liquidity. Maybe during the speech or after the speech, and stuff started rallying. There's really like nothing inside of here that's clear that I would trade today. Again, could you react off these wick fills in this liquidity pocket here? Yeah, you could. But again, much like gold, man, it's like, do you want to fight that macro direction? I don't know. Again, I need more confirmation there. So for me, for like YM, if I'm gonna try to get sell side on YM, it's very simple. I just need either a live OB to either print right here, or I need this candle to erase as we take liquidity here on just no buying volume. So that I think does push a little bit higher into the all-time highs, whereas NASDAQ, I'm pretty sure, prints something like this. We don't get an all-time high on this. Yeah, I think this is the most likely path, in my opinion. Scalped some oil buys today. Yeah, I seen that oil was running pretty hot today. I don't want to trade Mondays, so I wouldn't have been involved in any of this. I'm curious what you would have played, though. Or what you did play. Again, this is like something I would have already had to have been in this. Actually, in fact, I am in this. On this competition. Probably down overall. No, I'm up 87 bucks. Fire. Where is it? WTI. What is it? Yeah, there you go. These are just random positions, though. These are like, I put no analysis behind any of these. This is just me like putting macro directions on stuff with no rhyme or reason. Lock in this 400 though. Anyway, let's take a look at crypto real quick. I want to see how the Bitcoin is doing. Bitcoin's pretty interesting to me in this area too. Up here at 63. I still think it does have a little higher that it could push. I know I have a bunch of different paths here on this. Let me just get rid of this one real quick. But I do think that this can still come take out this like daily loan candle. Like we haven't quite wiped this candle yet, and we still have some like interesting liquidity built up here. So I think, again, much like NASDAQ and gold and everything, I do think this has like one more little explosive push up. I would like to see it hold below like 67, ideally. Then I think she'll come back and potentially play with this 53, 54 level. That'd be like best case scenario. Worst case scenario would be like that we do this and then we fall super flat afterwards and do something really annoying like this until eventually it's ready. But we've discussed that scenario and I really dislike that scenario. But yeah, we get a nice little push up into like the 66k area. I'm gonna start putting some cash aside for a potential flush to 54. It does not mean, or I just want to clear this up, but some people messaged me on Instagram when I had put out that I think, again, because if you have to put it together, I'm expecting some retracement here in a lot of assets come the rate cut. And some people have messaged me and they're like, oh, does this mean you're gonna sell everything? No, that does not mean that. I will trade intraday, like through futures and everything, to the sell side. But if you think that means I'm gonna sell all my Bitcoin because I think it's gonna fall from 65 to 54 during the election like cycle through rate cuts and everything, just because I think that, and I, potentially a warning of like a 20% decline in, over the course of like 2 months, 3 months, does not mean I'm willing to sell out of my entire holdings that have been accumulating since like 2016. That would be so stupid. There'd be no reason for me to do that. All that allows me to do is one, just pick a direction I want to trade for futures, for the intraday stuff that I typically do in the trade room and live here with you guys on YouTube. But it doesn't mean I'm gonna sell all my assets. It doesn't, like, same thing with like Tesla. Like, someone's like, oh, does that mean you're gonna sell like your recent like Tesla acquisition at 184? It's like, no. I'm not gonna sell the stock I bought at 184. First off, my average price is not 184. My average price is much lower. I've been accumulating Tesla for, again, just as long as Bitcoin. Almost 8 years now. You know, so it's like I'm not gonna sell out of my positions just because I do think there is some possibility. Same thing with this. Like, once it took this liquidity to 270, again, we thought it was gonna pull back to, like, you know, 200, even though it pulled back to 184. It's like I didn't sell out of anything. It's just I'm hustling during that time period to acquire more cash, and if it does give me my price levels again, I'm just gonna acquire more. So for those of you that think that I'm like, when I like look at like NQ and I say NQ is gonna do something like this, where it's gonna fall from like potentially the 20k level and maybe come down to 17k. Again, maybe I'm wrong about that, and we don't do that. It's a complete possibility. I'm playing the 10th man here, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna go and sell all my stocks just because of that. It just means that if that begins to play out, I know that once price gets down here, to redeploy my cash out that I've been accumulating during that cycle, and then I can, you know, get better average pricings or just increase holdings or whatever. So yeah, whenever I speak about like potential 15, 20, 30% correction in an asset, does not mean I'm selling out of it. I usually only sell out of something if I completely don't believe in it anymore. Like if Elon was doing the direction of Tesla was not going the direction that I thought it was going, they were fundamentally changing like stuff they were doing and building and working on, that would change my, you know, opinion about whether I want to hold it. But not just because I think the market's going to do something temporarily. Yeah, sell everything. Yes, sell everything. Just dump it all. No. Warren, like I say all the time, guys, the big funds, or the people that most people idolize in like investing, typically are not selling out and rebuying back in. Typically, they're just anticipating downfalls, acquiring more cash during that period, and then deploying more cash back into the asset at what they deem as an undervalued price. Watched with a 2-minute OB, matched with 1 minute. That's dangerous. That's dangerous trading to be doing outside of Tuesday through Thursday and like peak times. I won't tell you guys all that 1 minute, 2 minute trading is bad. We do it all the time in the trade room these days. But you have to do it at the right times. If you're watching the 1 minute chart and it's like, you know, 6:30, 7 o'clock Eastern at night, then you have a problem. But if it's like the 9:32 in the morning, 2 minutes after the open, like, yeah, you can like have your fun, read the you know, the volatility. Which futures account do you swing on broker-wise? AMP futures. AMP futures. I would use TradeStation. Unfortunately, my accounts are not large enough to justify that kind of risk. The overnight margins would kill me. It would greatly limit how much I could trade. But with AMP futures, you can get way better overnight rates. Again, you still need some pretty decent capital. Don't get me wrong. If you're not playing with, I want to say probably like $8,000, like $8,000 comfortably, you would need to like appropriately maybe swing, depending on the asset you're trading and how much like what you deem a worthwhile contract. You know, maybe your definition of it's a little different, but as long as you can afford the overnight margin times 2, then you should be okay. Apply that rule. Overnight margin times 2. Let's take a look though. What else have we not looked at yet? I know chat's pretty quiet. Stream's pretty quiet because we're usually not live on Mondays. Let's take a little quick look at what NQ and everything is doing here on lower time frames, I guess. Yeah, this is not really doing too much. Again, you could have played the high effort erase. I'm not gonna go into what that is, but you could have played that this morning. And at the very least, been in profits. The Dow... Yeah, the Dow... I mean, it pushed up, but it hasn't really done too much. Again, it is sitting in this liquidity pocket. So, a pretty interesting area of price. And if you don't know what a liquidity pocket is, the liquidity lessons are here on YouTube, so you can go watch that. Gold actually did react off this area, funny enough, so... Yeah, man, I might be looking at gold shorts this week. That might be the play. Like I said, I mean, if we can get put back below this 25.45, I wouldn't doubt that I'm playing to the sell side tomorrow. Where price is going to be at tomorrow, I don't know. That's anyone's best guess of where we actually close today. But I would imagine, ideally for me to play, would be like we break below here, and then overnight we maybe build up some like liquidity, and I can play. I don't know, maybe back up in this 25.50 area. None of that really even matters. I'm gonna just read the price action when it's appropriate to read it, when I'm actually trading. Yeah, it would be nice again to get below here, and then just formulate something where I can get into more. And we can maybe hunt this 24.70, man. I really want to see gold back below that 24.70. I feel like if we can push below 24.70, maybe even 24.56, and we can get some real nice swings, man. Some real nice trades over the next couple of weeks. Euro USD? I'll take a quick look at Euro USD. Honestly, I hope Euro USD falls for that dude Williams' sake. Let's see here. This is the thing that I'm talking about. What a lot of these pairs are. Let me just clean up like some of all of this other shit here. Little lines. But a lot of stuff is in some like interesting liquidity. Again, like this is EU is kind of just like taking this. Again, it's sitting in like a kind of a weekly kind of like liquidity pocket. So again, like my question whenever I'm looking at something like this right away, when you're pushing above old daily structure or weekly structure, any sort of like good liquidity pocket area like this. Again, we're pushing above like daily structure here. The biggest question that I have is like what's happening above this, right? Like anything that happened like below this doesn't even really matter. It's just like what happened above this, what can we kind of take away from that? So immediately we're just gonna go like the lower time frames and kind of take a look at every time that we kind of pushed above. So this is not above, but it's interesting sell action. Like right away, like my biggest question is like, what's this? Right, you get a really aggressive candle, and I already know what this is, right? This is, just the action that we seen end of week last week across everything. So this is like the same thing across gold and Q and all that fun stuff. We got this nice push on Friday, 9 a.m. and a lot of volume behind this on the 2 hour, the 4 hour. Again, this is some of the highest volume we've seen since we pretty much either moved up into the zone or even in some of these peaks that kind of led to this push above. The first thing I'm noticing with this is, again, this is like a lot of the buying activity is happening inside of fresh liquidity. And whenever I see this, I ask myself one simple question: is this sustained? Sustained or sustainable? Alright, however you wanna look at it, right? Is this sustained or is it sustainable? Meaning that like a lot of buying effort was put in here, right? So a lot of buying effort was put in you know, to the market here. There's a lot of shares being quote unquote bought. But is that because there's actual sustainable demand and we're going to continue from here? Or is that because the market is enticing people to buy up here as they start to oversupply the market, and that this is going to eventually erase itself? So whenever I see something like this, like, immediately I ask myself, like, is this candle going to erase, or are we going to continue off of it? And in order to continue off of it, right, we have to look at, like, where the last, like, hope of demand was in this. And usually we identify that by, like, a lone candle or something. So this is, like, our lone candle. Or if you kind of look at it as, like, this is the only place that selling began to step in, right, in any of this, like, buying activity. So it's like, okay, cool, like, if this demand is sustainable, then we should probably remain above here or come back in at this level. We look at this as kind of like a protected level. So all we're really looking to see is if price dips below this, and if it comes back above, and volume begins to increase again on lower time frames, we begin to shift. If we break below this and we kiss into this inefficiency, then we know that the inefficiency will fill out, that candle is not going to be sustainable, and we can trade away from it. So like right now we're kind of like at the point where this has to make its decision, because again, we've kind of tested below this, right? Market came right back down to this price, below this candle, right? Now it's a question of, like, does demand kick in? And we don't have an answer to that yet, because we've only tested below this one time, starting to build up some liquidity here, but there's really nothing happening, right? Like, I mean, buying volume is, like, pretty high here, sure, right? It's a pretty good buying volume down there, but it's like, is that going to continue? We'll have to find out. I mean, again, now we're moving into, like, 10 a.m., so, you know, we can look at, like, you know, what the 1 hour looks like. If this is, like, look good, is there demand kicking in here? Pretty decent sell volume coming in. So the way, like, that I would play this is I would play it based off how we respond off of here, right? This next move is going to tell us everything. Either this is going to move up, and we're going to start to see an increase in buying volume, right? And we'll go and we'll push a new high, or when it comes up here, we'll see absolutely no buying volume, and then we know that we can go short. So we don't really have an answer on this yet, but if I had to draw out a path for EU, it probably would be a path where we kind of come up and we play in between here, and as long as this move, right, this leg up has less volume than this, then we can look to play it to the sell side. But if we start to move up and the buying volume is just too much and it looks like it's sustainable, then we don't sell. And if you need an example of that, like, look at the same thing kind of like playing out here, right? Like, look, you came up into here on good volume, right? Price came back and just a little pullback. Of course, this got fully erased, which is a little bit of a different setup. It's like you continued higher on higher volume. Will you have to keep playing that, or assuming that's going to be true until something shifts? So until we get something like this on low volume, you would assume that this is going to continue to move up. So again, for people that are playing this right now, again, you could try to look for, like, buys inside of here. Again, I would rather wait. I'd rather already be in this. I was trying to play this, doesn't really print any sort of execution model. Unfortunately, there's no, like, live OB, there's no high F30 race, and it's a Monday, so I'm not gonna trust this anymore. But yeah, based off of, like, what I see on EU, I wouldn't be surprised if we get rejected from these highs. There's not enough data here to actually execute. Another thing that kind of concerns me, why I think this will actually end up pulling back rather than continuing, is that if we kind of take a look at what happened here, there was no, like, actual liquidity grab. All we did was build up more liquidity, right? This is kind of just like we call, like, a type 2 reaccumulation, right? It's just something that doesn't resolve itself fully. So this is probably going to get wiped just to test the demand under here. So now look at, like, EU again. This is, like, not really in a tradable environment, but I wouldn't doubt by, like, as this week progresses, that we slightly take out these highs, and then the sellers kind of step in. And again, that's exactly what we're looking for in the DXY, and everything's similar. It's like we're still expecting the DXY to do something just like that, where it responds off of its, like, continuation levels here, pushes a new low into, like, Tuesday, and then we can get that reaction to the buy side. Again, same thing that we're really looking for in everything, in golds. You know, we're looking for that. I mean, today we're looking for it to push a little lower, but then come back and swipe some stuff. The thing that's a little annoying about EU and foreign currencies over like the indices and everything is you have to take into account the ECB data as well. And the thing is, like, the Euro and the Bank of England already have lower rates than the dollar and are also looking at continuing cuts. So that's going to leave these a little bit stronger than everything else. So again, this is not something that I typically trade. If I were to trade EU this week, pending the right volume reactions, I will look to be going short above 112.20, and then maybe being able to get out for like 110.67. So yeah, it looks like we got one more failed rally, and we can go short here. Take out this unsustainable candle. And again, if we break above here on higher volume, we never return back lower, then you just never print your signal. It's fine. It's just, it is what it is. But I wouldn't be buying it in here, I don't think. Silver had a mini capitulation play today, maybe leading that gold will fall. Take a quick look at silver. See, this is kind of doing exactly what we want EU to do. Very literal way. A little different. Yeah, this doesn't look too bad either. Yeah, man, I like the incoming dollar strength. It just looks. I mean, like in terms of silver, like silver still needs to take this long candle if at all possible. Again, like there's so much buying volume here that just accomplished nothing, right? It's like you have this extremely bullish day in silver. And there's just no sustainability after. It's like the same thing. It's like once you erase this candle, like it just becomes glaringly obvious that these buyers are not going to be able to sustain price. Yeah, I also kind of like this on the daily because this is also what we're looking for out of like the Nasdaq. It's like a nice little swipe of these highs and then just spill over. I mean, if this is gonna like spill over on the daily, then you're looking at like maybe coming out like playing with these lows, filling out some of like this inefficiency inside of here as a target. Because if you ask yourself right now, what side of the market is more efficient? The buy side or the sell side? I think the buy side is more efficient. Again, like there's still some inefficiencies you can like fill inside of here, maybe. But I think if the market gets behind it, man, I feel like it wants to pull it down here. Okay, we'll have to see where we are on Tuesday. By tomorrow, we'll know. By tomorrow, we'll know if that dollar pullback is going to come in the rest of the week. But yeah, I do like this. I close my gold and NAS buys on Fridays. I wish I didn't because I don't see anything nada, so I'm chilling. Yeah, but what's that got to do with anything, bro? I mean, just because you see nothing doesn't mean that closing your other position was a terrible idea. It's only a terrible idea if they completely just keep running, right? If gold pushes new all-time highs, Nasdaq goes and rips through like the 20k level, then you could be like, oh, I regret it, whatever. But just because you don't see a new setup, that's not good enough reason. Especially on a Monday, brother. Like, we don't trade Mondays. We don't execute on Mondays anyway. Unless we're trying to front run like a news event like CPI that's on a Wednesday. But even then, it's like that's like better left till like early Tuesday. Yeah, Nasdaq tripping. Yeah, I'm not surprised, man. Like I said, if we were trading this morning, we would have taken the high F30 race. We probably would have went short on this. I don't know if anybody was trading this morning with some of the logic that we're using, and we'd be looking at this for the PP because this would have been like a 1 to 3, between a 1 to 3 and 1 to 4. So we would have already been break even on this one. This would have been a solid trade this morning. Again, the high F30 race is not something that I put on YouTube quite yet. It is, at least in video format. We've talked about it on the live streams, but yeah, that would have been a pretty solid trade today. I'm actually gonna have to remember this. I'm gonna start doing a recap at the end of the week, like a top 5 setups that you could have taken using the logic that I use. Some of them will hopefully be trades that we've taken, and hopefully some of them will be ones that we missed so we can learn from. Because we definitely don't catch everything. That's for sure. Yeah, this was a solid trade, man. Then Nasdaq tripping. Let's just take a quick look at what gold's doing. Yeah, same thing. Oil is still climbing. Actually, let's see how the go negative on most stuff here. Silver, S&P, gold. Alright, family, yeah. Any other questions, comments, pairs y'all want me to go over, man? Talk to me. Let me know how y'all feel. If not, I'm gonna go play with my little stock screener that we're building a little bit more. Actually, let's take a look at some of them stocks. Let's see, what do we have on the screener? Let's see how some of these alerts are doing. Let's see, this was the most recent alerts. I don't think this is the one we would have taken, was it? Oh no, this was a sell side signal. So this got called at 62 cents. You would have had to buy it this morning though if you were gonna get in. Opened at 55. This is up 21% right now. That's kind of fucking crazy. Let's see, Arco. This one we would have taken to the sell side signal. It is. This printed at 918. What did it open for today though? At 918. Okay, so this one is down. We would have had a chance to buy this at a better price. We'll see how this one works out soon. E-Lab I don't think was. Yeah, this is like a shit. This is like such a shit stock though. What was this called at? 31 cents? It's at 31 cents. Alright, so we'll see where that ends up end of day. ERKN was another one that was called this is also at the lows. This is pulled at 202, it's at 195. And this is still trying to get in that one. Kava, yes, Kava with a buy side signal. That's to take profits. Go ahead and touch that one. CSIQ. 1348 to 1359. This is another one we probably would have bought. This one's actually really nice because this one's actually sweeping some liquidity. This is at its all-time lows. It's not at an all-time low, which is even more interesting. Canadian Solar, huh? What was this quota? 1348. Trades at 1361. See, this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to get a screener that basically does this, right? Like, this has got like some spring-like activity here, which is interesting. So I'm gonna actually, what is this? CSIQ? Let me add this to like a watch list. Let me make a new watch list. Great. Screening watches. How do I add this? CSI. So yeah, I'm just gonna say it's got horrible. Because if this just rallies back to the top of the accumulation, even if this only pushes 20 bucks, this is like a 49% return, which is not bad. I don't know nothing about Canadian Solar. I'm just gonna go off of the fact that, again, the volume screener called it and it looks really good. To identify springs. We're also gonna bring this technology over to indices, cryptocurrencies. But we're testing it right now on stocks because we're most interested in buying long-term stocks with this. Because this is like not an intraday type thing. This is like a buy and hold type thing. 29.53 this got called at. This is an interesting chart too, though. Absorption going on here, maybe? Blackstone Secured London. Maybe if we can get this under 29.40, let's go at this one. Yes. And some of these are just absolute shit stocks. AHL Enterprise. Antelope Enterprise Corp. Again though, but it's like, is this a spring down here at $1.26, and now this is just the LPSY into a loan candle too? Some absorption, $1.99. It's still weekly right away. You know what I'm saying though? It's like, even if this returns just back to where it was, that's 200% gain. What would be the risk on this? The risk would be 40%, risking 40% for 200 at the minimum. I don't want to watch list every single fucking one here, but I don't know. Again, that looks structurally pretty good, man. CTNT. God, this looks terrible. What was this called at? This was called like yesterday. We're at 26 cents, so this is already... Probably wouldn't have got filled at 26 though, yeah. You know what? I might as well watch this one too. And these, at least these are bottomed out. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for bottomed out stocks. Some of them are not bottomed out, but... Here's another one with a spring, with another fucking spring, dude. the right stock though? CX? CMAX? Yeah, it is. Yeah, see, like this, like we wouldn't bother with this. We're not looking, we're not buying that. ARQT. Possible reaccumulation, but I don't like that one. VILI. I don't like this one. There's too many gaps in that. Not enough. There's not enough volatility. Here's one that I know is really good. I wonder how this is trading today. This is at the same price that it was called at. This is what I think I'm actually gonna put money behind rather than just watch it. But this GF. Oh no, I'm sorry. Is this? Hold on. Is this the right one? Yeah, this is the right one. This is daily. See how good this is so ugly though. I need to check what the I need to look at this on like an actual platform. See, this is worth buying. This is a I know we looked into it a little bit. They're in the gold mining business, which is not bad to get into if gold is, again, trading at all-time highs. I wonder if they're profitable, debt-free. I know Jordan had said something about them being, like, debt-free, too, which is, like, fucking fantastic. This one's already breaking out, so we're not gonna buy it. And then the first one was CSIQ. This is the first thing we looked at. CSIQ. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. CIS. Oh, this thing. Stop this one. Interesting. Yeah, we're gonna keep an eye on these, man. CSIQ is already up on the day. VXSL, AEHL, CTNT, CF. Well, I can't speak to that. These are tickers I'm not used to, that's why. Yeah, man, we're gonna watch all of these. Again, I'm not sure what NQ and all of them are doing right now. For the same thing. Dow still pushing higher, Nasdaq still pushing lower. Oil doing nothing. Oil tumbled a little bit, the dollar index coming back down. Hopefully they give us that nice end of day play. Yeah, you're right. Closing my trades has nothing to do with not seeing anything. I'm feeling anxious and impatient today for some reason. Oh yeah, well I mean, yeah, brother. Closing trading view is the best thing to do when you're feeling like that. Notice, I'm not getting tempted into anything, bro. It's just like, it's a Monday, we casual, we chilling. There's no reason that you gotta execute every day or cease anything every day. But yeah, family, I'm gonna go keep refining this little volume bot here. I'm gonna see if I can apply it to some of these indices as well as some cryptos and stuff, so we can get some hands-free alerts. Again, it's not perfect. It's not gonna give us, 80% winning trades or anything like that, but it is meant to be our eyes if we're not around. So yeah, love and appreciate y'all for chilling with me today. But it's your boy Skag, and I'm gonna tune out for now and go get some work done. Appreciate y'all. See y'all in the trade room tomorrow morning.